So it's not really that hard to understand, but I have found that the way people perceive automation is distorted. And that's where the confusion starts. All right? Yes, automated is in the name of the business over here. But let me just talk about something that I found out over the past 2 years by talking to SaaS platform, like engineers, sales reps, account managers, whatever for the SaaS platforms. I like to call the stuff, the magic inside the SaaS platform, the application, automatic technologies. What is that? All right, we're here now. Okay, let's talk about automatic technologies. It's day 22. Automatic technologies. I'll write it down. Or automatic technologies. I just don't like saying the word tech. It sounds cheesy to me, you know? It sounds like it's in my lip service category, and I use that phrase quite a bit. But yeah, when people say, yeah, tech, oh yeah, I work in tech. I'm like, okay, I get it, but I feel sometimes, maybe that's why, sometimes I don't like to use short forms of words. I don't even like to say nicknames for people. Maybe that's just me. But anyway, so automatic technologies for me, sorry, the brightness is screwed up here. Automatic technologies for me, in my understanding, and what I inject into the automated method is all the stuff that's inside the SaaS platform that does things for you without a human interaction, okay? You can go as simple as scheduled things. So at certain times of the day, certain things get done automatically. That's one way of looking at it. Another way of looking at it is the if this then that way, the if this then that type of formula. So if something happens here, triggers this, do that, no human, okay? And then the next one is platform to platform. So that means one SaaS, one cloud SaaS platform, one environment talks to another. Because remember I said, when you model your app stack, they all play nice together. That's what the automated method does, is we recommend the app stack and model based on these native integrations so that you don't have to like force a square peg in a round hole, all right? That's because we're building the perfect business for you. It's like, how many times do I have to say that? So if there's like, if it's like Xero or QuickBooks Online, and we come up like a jury, we decide based on building the perfect business, which one's better, we're going to go with the better one for the perfect business because of the native integrations and it plays friendly with others. Do you see what I'm talking about? Like, that's where I would say, you know, as much as I hate QuickBooks, I'd be like, fine, use QuickBooks Online because I know what it's going to mean to the user, to the owner, to the owner. I know exactly, because it's going to mean less human resources because more automatic technologies can be activated, connecting all of the pieces natively integrated. You see what I'm talking about? We're on day 22. This is where it gets good. This is the depth I've been wanting to get to, because now app choices matter, right? Stacking them together matters. Right? And we haven't even got into what those SaaS platforms, what those software as a service have in the feature releases in their scope in the future, right? Which is something that we over here may know that you don't. So then we can tell you that, like, yeah, maybe you could pivot right now and choose this other CRM because in the next 3 months, they're going to do this and that's going to automate this and then this and this. You see, as a business owner, that's what you should be focused on. The automatic technologies and the SaaS platforms, because they will lean the business down. There's so many things that don't need to be done by a human being once you open it up. And remember, I'm saying that the expert and advanced levels of the understanding of that platform, that environment, it will incorporate in that expert and advanced, the knowledge will be understanding what the automatic technologies are and what they do. So if you don't have expert or advanced knowledge in that platform, you probably do not have the automation turned on or optimized or like all of it, all of it. Literally turn it all the fuck on. All of the automatic technologies. Why wouldn't you? You're already using that SaaS. So turn it all on. Turn it all on. Because it's there for a reason. It's not like they add these features and they're like, yeah, maybe. Yeah, it's pretty cool, maybe. No, it's there because it deletes a human resource. It deletes a task. It decreases something where the human bandwidth is necessary to do on a daily, because it's so trivial and it's so it's like software replicating human behavior, repetition, that kind of stuff, scheduling. You see? That's why you turn it all on. And that's where the perfect business actually, like, it just opens up. Because each one of these platforms, when you open it up and you pull out all the wires and you start connecting all the wires to like the other platforms for certain things, like if you do this, bring that information over here automatically, cloud to cloud, native integration, what starts to happen is the business functions like without people, in a lot of workflow. A lot of workflow without one human interaction, without even one. Because what happens is that, like, maybe there's a trigger point where you need a human interaction, some sort of human decision, an empathetic decision, a critical thinking decision that a computer doesn't have to do. And that happens, and then the rest of it's just like, how would it make a mistake? It's a computer. And it's like the same things in repetition, like there's no copy paste, right? And it's like, where I think why I get so pissed off at Microsoft Excel is because even if someone has pivot tables and multi-file connections, like files and folders connected to files and folders through each other in Microsoft Excel, which is, you can do that, which is like crazy these days, because like, why? But that type of knowledge, it's like you depend on the file. You depend on the file to file to file to file, kind of like creation and structure. And it's dead to me. Files are dead to me in that regard. So when people are using Excel like that, it's like the amount of labor. Here's the thing. This is you. This might be you. You have to go and, if you have to engage the software interface, if you have to open, like that's like, so I go to my computer. So it's like a task needs to be done that could be done by an automatic technology. Here's what I'm talking about. Watch this. Now, when do you go to do this? Whether you use your phone or your computer, let's say you use your computer, okay? So when do you do that? Well, I guess you got to do it now. So you go open your computer, log in, make sure you have a Wi-Fi connection, somehow, maybe hotspot your phone, go into the application, go into whatever it is you need to do in the application. Maybe you use the trackpad or a mouse. You do what you have to do. That, if you don't do it, the process doesn't continue. And then maybe you're done that one thing. How long did that take? Half an hour, maybe, for some things? Maybe only 10 minutes, maybe only 5. How many of those do you have to do in a row? Do you keep the computer open, or do you shut it and you're done that one task and you wait till the trigger for the next one? Do you see what I'm saying here? Like, that's what it's like when you don't have this worked out, when you don't have a workflow worked out, when you don't have all the automatic technologies turned on, and you are not in the right ecosystem. You don't have a perfectly built ecosystem for what I'm talking about. And so with Excel, I see people engaging in it, usually bookkeeping business owners, and they're completely generating reports drive them as the workflow inside their operational business, okay? And it could be hours a day. But yeah, they might be making some critical decisions and some like decisions that automatic tech can't. But I guarantee you that there's like 90% of it is replication, human scheduling, and just being engaged in it all day unnecessarily. The amount of bandwidth that you eat personally or your team eats behaving like that is astronomical. Astronomical. And if that's a mindset. Oh, here we go. I'm going to say mindset. Whenever I say these keywords, it like my brain stops. I'm like, mindset, because it doesn't matter. I could say mindset forever. It doesn't sell. It doesn't sell shit. You know what I mean? It's just like the amount of people where it's like, boop, and then back down into the normal whatever they were thinking before you said the word mindset. Is just like how people aren't. It's hard to make people ambitious or motivated. It's very difficult, right? So anyway, the mindset of to get someone to that mindset where like their bandwidth matters and they're wasting time. You know, like it only takes me 4 hours. And I'm like, yeah, what if you didn't have to do anything in that 4 hours? What if those 4 hours, you didn't have to do any of that 4 hours? Right? Like, don't think like, oh, I'm there anyway. Oh, I got it open already anyway. No, time is the most valuable resource. You can't get it back. No. Use it wisely somewhere else. That's where the road parts with the business owner, because when they think, oh, I'm there already anyway, they're not valuing their time some other way where they could do something else or run another business or do anything else. In my case, hang out with my wife and daughter, whatever, raise a family. I don't care, whatever it is. But that's what I'm saying. That's where that splits. If you believe that it doesn't do anything, these automatic technologies, turning them all on, it's like, yeah, whatever, man. I'm like, okay. But at the end of the day, when you work out the math and you want to do revenue and you want to drive the revenue line without burning yourself the fuck out, and you want to have like all these things, automatic technologies, man, they basically change everything. And now I'm going to talk about that pre-AI. Okay? So if I'm talking about automation, which is basically the best way that I could say is, in the beginning, the software, what it did was it was an interface with a function, right? Like you drove it with the mouse and the keyboard. You drove the software. You did click stuff and you drove it. What happens in the evolution of technology is watching human behavior and replicating human behavior inside the software. So you don't have to move a mouse anymore because it just knows that happens when this happens, when that happens, at this time, when this happens, when this does. It's trigger points, okay? So you slow the process down. You, human, slow it down. And you might make mistakes. And also, if you want to really get detailed, how much are you documenting, journaling what you're doing? Like, do you know how long you spent doing something? Are you breaking your day into like 15-minute increments, 30-minute increments, 60-minute increments, and then keeping track of in a journal what you did? And then also keeping track of how you felt. Did you feel like it burned you out? On a scale of 1 to 10, how much bandwidth out of a one day cycle did you use up? You don't know this kind of stuff. That's way too complex. The platform is designed to replicate these and mimic that behavior inside itself so you don't have to. And that's a while ago. That's years ago that this started. So it's just evolving more. It's getting like crazier. That's why where I'm passionate is that when a new feature release comes out, or like a new Substack, something I can connect into the ecosystem and it saves time, I'm like all over it. I'm like, yep, go, yep. Because as far as I'm concerned, even if you were to add +1 human into the role, that's a lot of money. This is like $10 a month per user. It's crazy the difference in cloud cost versus a human being. And that's where you got to be. If you're a traditional business owner, you need to understand that that's a waste of like resources unnecessarily. You can scale the business and add +1 human efficiently with data. Like when you know that you're maximizing the bandwidth, and then you're like, oh, we end, like this is the best part. You have all the automatic technologies turned on. You're measuring all this, all of this is being measured. You're managing the expectations digitally and you're managing the bandwidth digitally. So when you scale, it's like almost perfection. It's like that, 99%. It's like the bandwidth of the last person in the chain is at 99%. You're like, we are at a scale point. No fucking questions asked. We are at a scale point. See? Whew. The perfect business, everybody. The perfect business. So yeah, now I can start talking about automatic technologies or automation. And that's what it's for. And so I did say pre-AI for a second there, and that's where it's getting good. So I'll open it up in the next few days. Pre-AI to me is copying human behavior. Okay? And we are building these behaviors by buying into the SaaS platforms. It's like a wild ride, man, because the more we want path of least resistance shortcut, the more the software industry builds shortcuts because we will pay for them. Okay? That's where you should be. That's where you should be. You should be taking advantage of all of it because it's just, it's so awesome. Once we get in a few more days, what I'm going to tell you, if you jumped into the perfect business right now and you saw this video first, as I always say, listen to all the podcasts from day 1 all the way up through day 30. And because this is also helping me start this story, again, because I try this all the time, but it's like I lose flow. But because I'm going on it, because I'm traveling, I'm going to make remote work. I'm going to talk about that because obviously that's what, everybody, it's an old topic, but the perfect business should be remote. Doesn't necessarily, you can have an HQ, but I'm just saying that it should be remote as well if you could, right? Why would you not? Especially with all these things available. Anyway, we'll talk more.